Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the garden. Today we have a very exciting video, and by that I mean the last chance of frost has finally passed. I know it feels like it's been forever since we started the whole process and journey of winter sowing everything. The last frost date here has officially passed, so I'm so excited so I can go out into the yard and I can begin the process of planting out the summer vegetable garden. It's important to note that I've already removed a lot of the hardy annuals and biennial flowers, which I don't like that I have to do, but I do have to do it because I have such limited space, especially to grow everything and all that stuff. I started out making this video. I was like, oh, I'll record everything. I'll make a really good video for it. But after about an hour into it and trying to record everything and do all the work, things got really overwhelming really quickly. So this is kind of an abridged version of all the work that I did. So the first thing that I really did was tear out all the other flowers and things like that, and get rid of it. And get ready to plant my other crops. So after I tore out the old plants, I went through here with a tiller. It's not really a tiller, it's more like a tiller cultivator. I've been using this thing for upwards of 8 years now. Nope, that's a lie. Not 8 years, 5 years. I'm not good at math. Sorry. Anyhow, I took my tiller cultivator and I just worked the entire area, and I should let you guys know that my tiller cultivator has stopped working. It no longer works. I'm pretty sure that the motor in there is burned out, so I might have to invest in a new one before it's time to plant some more stuff. After I took the tiller through there, I just kind of grabbed a shovel and double dug the beds. Ideally, I wouldn't want to walk on the beds as much as I do, but I walk on the beds a lot. After I've dug it up nice and fluffy, just really nice, just soft dirt, I went ahead and added my fertilizer. I personally use a Seabird Guano. I think I mentioned in the other video. I think it's been discontinued though, so I'm going to have to find something else to use. It's got a pretty good nitrogen number. It's got a pretty good phosphorus number. That's why I really like both, because it's good for my flowers for blooms. Anytime you are using a fertilizer, you want to make sure you read the instructions very carefully. Make sure it is safe for use on food crops and vegetables if you intend on using it for food crops and vegetables. I know I'm like the safety patrol, but that's just my personality. I love gardening, but at the same time I want you guys to make sure that you're safe, keeping your kids safe and your pets safe and everybody you love, that kind of thing. So one of the first crops that I planted in the garden today, I planted this row of taller things that I'm not going to plant in landscape fabric. The reason I'm not planting these in landscape fabric is that they are pretty quick growing. They'll cast a shadow on the soil that will suppress a lot of weeds because there won't be much sunlight for them to grow in. This is also in a very shady spot in the garden, in the back behind my fence. So once things start to grow, they don't really get much attention in this spot. So even if it does get really weedy, no, the chances are that nobody's going to see it except for me, and weeds don't really bother me, honestly. It won't be that bad. I've done this before. I know that the weed pressure won't be that bad here. So I'm just taking my rake and making some little rows here, and I am going to be sowing some things like my sorghum. I'm also going to be sowing some flower corn and some sunflowers. Things like sorghum and corn and sunflowers are really space hogs. They seem kind of superfluous for a small garden, but they're also things that I really love, and things that say, hey, this is a summer garden. The sorghum I use in flower arrangements. It looks really nice. You can also dry it and use it in wreaths for fall decorations. So the flower corn, I love to use the stalks and the ears in fall decorations. Also, and the sunflowers, I just really like sunflowers. Not to mention, the thing about growing corn, it's not really the greatest crop for tiny areas, like I've already mentioned, But for whatever reason, corn and summer just go kind of hand in hand in my brain. So I just feel like it wouldn't be a complete summer garden if I didn't plant corn in the summer garden. You know what I mean? Like, I have to plant corn. That's not an option, right? I don't know. And I plant two types of corn. I have a sweet corn, a hybrid sweet corn, and this Hopi Blue flower corn. Hopefully they will drop pollen at different times and not cross-pollinate each other, but who knows? Either way, I'm going to be happy with how it ends up. So we've planted that in the garden. After I was done planting my corn in the garden, it was time to plant some of my tomato plants. If you remember, I started my tomato seeds using the winter sowing method. It's one of my absolute favorite methods, and due to the fact that our winter was so cold and our spring was so cold, the winter sown tomatoes didn't do all that great. I lost a couple bottles because I let them dry out, but you know, I did have some that were perfectly fine. The plants look nice and healthy, however, they're just, you know, they're just a little bit small right now, which I think will be fine. Like I mentioned, they tend to grow very quickly and really just catch up with anything that you grow from a greenhouse or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about them. I put them under this fence here. This fence has a kind of a metal panel. Hang those up and tie those to that metal panel there. Kind of make like a wall of tomatoes. That's the goal. Don't know if it'll work. Never tried it before. I'm all about trying stuff I ain't never tried before, so you don't have to try it. So if it doesn't work, I'll let you know it doesn't work. Tomatoes, just like with the corn, I'm not going to use any landscape fabric. You remember last year I had tons of tomatoes. I've really scaled back on the tomatoes this year. I definitely didn't need as many as I had last year, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down a thick layer of straw around these tomatoes. Once they get a little bit bigger, I'm going to add some more straw, maybe even some cardboard, and keep the weeds down. We won't have to worry about weeds around the plants. Maybe even add some kind of vines of some sort around these poles, see if we can get them to climb the poles. I was thinking maybe add some Malabar spinach to a couple of these poles to see if we can get it to climb and really use, you know, really make use of all that good vertical space that we have, because our, you know, our space is limited, so we got to grow up when we can't grow out. So that's the goal there. I like to use the seedlings because they're already established. They're going to keep the weeds down starting immediately. I really like, if I'm going to direct sow seeds into the landscape fabric, I'm going to use seeds that are, you know, robust, big, easy to grow. I know it seems like there's no plan, but I kind of have a plan in my head. I don't write it down. I kind of just go with the flow, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it turns into a total hot mess. But again, that's just, you know, kind of my gardening personality. If you are a meticulous and organized person, I say more power to you, and I'm sure it'll turn out great either way. But I'm definitely more of a just kind of wing it and go with the flow kind of person. So hopefully things will work out well for us in the garden. On this particular day, I ended up doing another row. I didn't finish it on this day. It's a lot of work, especially, you know, crawling around the ground. First you got to till it, then you got to amend it, then you got to put your sheet down, then sometimes you need to burn holes, then you got to plant it. It's just a big laundry list of things that you need to do. The last row that I planted for the day was filled with a bunch of flowers, a bunch of really, really nice winter sown flowers, things like my petunias, my status, some of the straw flowers. So I'm trying to even just think. Oh, I went ahead and I put in a lot of my herbs into this bed. The sage, the rosemary, the oregano. I even planted the mint into the flower bed. Did you guys hear that? You know how like mint like can take over your yard and stuff, or so they say on the internet, or so that I've heard. Well, I planted mint directly into the ground. Only time will tell if that was a really great idea or like the dumbest idea ever. So we'll have to see how invasive mint really is in the yard, I guess. I don't know. At least it'll smell good. That's really about it for this video. Hopefully it was somehow helpful. I'm not quite sure if it was. If it was, be sure to subscribe. I would absolutely love to have you. We're making new videos on the regular. Trying to get to 10,000 subs this year. Not quite sure if we can do it, but I'm going to try my best. If you do subscribe, be sure to hit that little bell icon. What that thing does is it tells you when I make a new video. For whatever reason, sometimes YouTube doesn't tell people when I make new videos. So if you hit that little bell, it should tell you. But I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. I hope y'all are having a real great day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.